Hi there, viewers and gamers alike out there, and welcome to another side quest story and info of Marvel Spider-Man. And yes, it's more of the Venom info again, because why do I get the feeling that you guys think, are you that interested in Venom, who is an anti-hero? And I'm gonna say yes, because he's not the Marvel's Batman by saying, I'm Batman! Okay, so no. However, this is a topic that I like to discuss about. So, there's 5 alternate versions of Venom better than the original, and 5 that are worse, which kind of doesn't make any sense, which kind of makes sense, but who knows. So, when Spider-Man revealed his black suit to the comic book world, in the Amazing Spider-Man hashtag comic book number 252, no one knew about how much trouble it would cause. Though seemingly benign, the suit turned out to be an alien symbiote with its own thought process. When Spidey got rid of the outfit / alien, it found another host in Eddie Brock. He ended up becoming the villain / anti-hero known as Venom. I'm not doing the main story, so I'm sorry. So that was in 1984. Over 30 years later, a whole slew of symbiotes exist in the Marvel Universe. Some are siblings to the original, others were manipulated by science. In the end, they constitute a family of sorts. To find out more, here is every member of Venom's symbiote family ranked, get this, ranked by power. So, the top 5 who are the best, and the bottom 5 who are stink burger. Agent Venom. Flash Thompson, known in his hero form as Agent Venom, is certainly not the weakest member of the symbiote family. He still had spider-like powers, very much, that allowed him to crawl on the walls, if you want to know. Crawl on walls and lift heavy objects. Once he merged with the anti-Venom symbiote, he could heal himself as well as others. However, unlike his friend Spider-Man, Flash doesn't have inherent meta powers, if you want to know. Yet most of his his military and boxing training gives him advantages in some areas. Yet most of his abilities come from the symbiote. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, to be honest, but it's a good thing because Agent Venom happens to be one of the good guys, and no, he is not the anti-hero. That is Flash Thompson, aka Agent. So you're gonna like this one. That was number 10, and now this is number 9. Symbiote Guardians. Early in his career, Venom was captured by the Life Foundation and forced to provide 5 samples of the symbiote. A quartet of the seeds bonded to a group of individuals. Eventually, here are the names. Riot, Lasher, Phage, and Agony. Yeah, those are symbiotic names of characters of symbiotes. Became a group called the Guardians. Yeah, funny, isn't it? The 4 had the same powers as the symbiote and little else. A few adventures revealed the Guardians' lack of skills. In the end, the human hosts were killed and the symbiotes went their own way, which is kind of dark if you think about this, because that is very Arkham. So yes, it's Arkham. It's just, why do you think Marvel has its own Arkhamverse? Because it does. Number 8, Hybrid. Soon enough, the former Guardian symbiotes fused and bonded with Scott Washington, a crippled guard who released them from a lab. Together, they become the anti-hero known as Hybrid. He decided the first task was to eliminate the gang that had ruined his legs. Not long after he became Hybrid, Venom killed him to eliminate all evil forms of the symbiote. Quote, evil, end quote, forms of the symbiote. So there you have it. It's just, why? Because, I don't know why, because that's what the comic book says. Hybrid has the same spider-like powers as Venom and Carnage. The 4 unique symbiotes that bonded with him also provided Scott with the ability to camouflage himself. Well, since other symbiotes and transformed to give him the power to fly. I'm not kidding. Instead of like Venom, I know Venom and the other symbiotes don't fly, of course, and not to mention the flying human spider, of course, when Bruce Campbell came up with the name, the Amazing Spider-Man. So, Hybrid, unlike the other characters that kind of stick to walls besides the walls and ceiling, Hybrid is able to fly like a bird. I'm not kidding. He's able to fly like Hawkman or Superman, if you want to know. So, there you have it. Pretty interesting. I mean, if you are like, if there are like some Japanese anime characters that you can name a character, whether it's a supervillain or a superhero, and they're infected by the symbiote named Hybrid who can fly, imagine that. So, I would leave a comment section below and tell me what would the character of a Japanese anime would you think that would be, who would fly as a supervillain and or a superhero and or both. Eddie Brock. Number 7. After Spider-Man, one would probably think Eddie Brock, well, you know, is the most powerful owner of the symbiote. Though it's true he's a match for the original wall crawler, he isn't as strong as the other symbiotes who came after him. Nevertheless, well, what he does have is fairly significant. Since the symbiote retains Spider-Man's powers, Eddie has superhuman strength with speed and stamina. I'm not saying superhuman speed. He has really enhanced speed and the stamina, which is really good if you want to know. Super well done. He isn't as strong as what I would say as the, whichever comes best for him. He can adhere to vertical, horizontal surfaces and shoot living webs from his hands. Venom's greatest tool against Spider-Man is his invisibility to spider sense. So, yes. So, in other words, Spider-Man's spider sense, if he tries to find Venom with his spider sense, it's not going to work. So, he has to act out on instinct without the spider sense. So, he has to be like super double aware of his surroundings, because since he can't sense him with his spider sense, he's going to have to act on his own without the spider sense for once from time to time. So he's going to have to guess on hunches. Number 6, Sleeper is a unique, Sleeper is a symbiote if you want to know. Sleeper is a unique symbiote born in Alchemex's astrobiology lab. It remained there until it began to mature, and officials of the giant chemical, how do I pronounce this name? Conglomerate could market its chemokinetic powers. Funny way you should ask about chemokinetic powers of telekinesis. It escaped into space to find its original host, the Kree. If you happen to know who the Kree are, then good for you. The Kree soldier Telkar. Sleeper lobotomized the alien to take complete control and explore the cosmos. So think of it as like almost like cosmic Spider-Man in a sense of way. That was the start of its adventures. On top of the base Venom powers, Sleeper has the ability to create numerous liquid and aerosol chemicals. Yes, I'm not kidding. Numerous liquid and aerosol chemical forms. Or base. Some of these act as pheromone agents, while others are corrosive materials used in battle. The emotional agents allow Sleeper to use a form of pheromone telepathy to hypnotize its victims. And yes, that's the symbiote, not Spider-Man, because he cannot hypnotize people. Sleeper, yes. Spider-Man, no. So think of the other way around, JJ, because your red herrings suck. Really, really bad. That is Sleeper, not that Spider-Man. So get over it. Anti-Venom, the hero known as, number 5. The hero known as Anti-Venom was created from symbiote remnants of Eddie Brock. Eddie Brock's body. Rather than forming into a twin sibling, they were charged by the villain Mr. Negative. I'm not kidding. Mr. Negative, and this is the perfect suit for the Venom info of the Negative suit. As a result, an artificial being was created that worked for good. So the original Venom was so negative, and the anti-Venom, or should I say anti-Venom, is not negative but in a positive way. Wow, that's one way to think positive in a happy pursuit of justice and truth and honor and love and respect. Which is pretty funny if you ask me. I mean, of course, what are the characters, if you think any Japanese anime superhero would go with Anti-Venom? I would say yes, including Japanese anime characters from Sword Art Online. I mean, if to be honest, if Anti-Venom were to team up with Kirito and other groups, I would say go for it. But he's not. But Anti-Venom is not the bad guy. The original Venom, the anti-hero, yes. Well, not a villain. He's not a bad guy. He's just a bad guy who's an anti-hero who makes sometimes mostly bad decisions. Okay, like in a way. But Anti-Venom, that is very different. Of course, how he was portrayed from Spider-Man Edge of Time portrays a little different from the of Dan Slott and Peter David, if you want to remember that. The Amazing Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2099, which both of those timelines are connected with from the game of Edge of Time, if you want to remember. So there you have it. So okay, but I'm not done with it. Besides the normal Venom traits, Anti-Venom's greatest ability is the cleansing touch. When Anti-Venom tried to cure Spider-Man of his radioactiveness in his body, because when he got bitten by a spider, yeah, that's what happened. When he said it didn't work, but he said yes, it did. But that was Eddie Brock, if you want to know, voiced by none other than Steve Blum. It's something that can cause extreme pain or death in another symbiote. With so many of these beings occupying Earth 616, as well as the solar system, the power comes in handy on a regular basis. So, I may kind of agree with Anti-Venom's powers, and I kind of disagree, if you want to know. I'm not saying the at saying a yes, yes, or a no, no, but I would say a yes, yes, and a no, no type of factor. But all in all, I would say Anti-Venom can be a pretty... I'm not saying he's a great hero, but he's wants to be a good hero. He's not going to like to try to follow up that Batman Forever made by Schumacher's films, which is terrible. Ugh. I would prefer Batman and Robin, thank you very much, not Batman Forever. Okay, number 4, Spider-Man in the black suit symbiote. The Venom symbiote would have remained a glob of inanimate matter if it weren't for Peter Parker. His costume in tatters after the events in Secret Wars. He went in search of the machine that produced outfits for the other heroes. What he found was a costume that changed his life. Under Peter's control, the symbiote was able to form the black suit Spider-Man costume because the one in the Sam Raimi black suit Spider-Man costume was well done. It did not look like a cartoon. It was like perfect. That is a black suit Spider-Man that nobody has ever seen, and I love it. And it was on the Amazing Spider-Man, the first game on the PS3, Xbox 360, and also on the Nintendo Wii U. When Peter disposed of it, okay, so hold on, not yet. So in addition, it boosted his already impressive powers and provided him with unlimited webbing. There you have it. But when Peter disposed of it, the symbiote retained most of Spider-Man's powers, and that happened. So there you have it. It retained most of Spider-Man's powers, and then find Eddie Brock, and then the rest is history. Thank you very much. Bizarrage. Bizarnage. Yeah, that's the name of a symbiote. Bizarnage. Trust me, I'm not making this up. It is the name of a character in the Marvel Universe. In the ancient days known as the 1990s, Marvel and DC got together and created a series of one-shot comics. I'm not kidding. This is absolutely true. These combined heroes and villains of both companies into one personality. Well, you know, they did a fusion. That is a dream that I would love to see. DC and Marvel working together, and because of that, that would be like a future change, which I combine with DC and Marvel comic heroes with Japanese anime characters to bring the comic book to life from what I make in my comic strip thumbnails, as you see on premieres and live stream videos. So, these combined heroes and villains on both companies into one personality. For instance, Carnage was merged with Bizarro to create the villain Bizarnage. I'm not kidding. Bizarro. On top of the symbiote's ruthlessness, Bizarnage has the superhuman abilities of Superman's maligned opposite. Overall, the villain was not to be reckoned with by anyone else than the Superboy / Spider-Man hybrid known as Spider-Boy. Awesome sauce, which is the kind of way of a fusion moment with DC and Marvel yeah, that is amazing. With Connor Kent and Peter Parker, and what you get combined is Spider-Boy. So that's the name of a comic book hero back in the 90s. It's really interesting. So there you have it. That was number 3. Number 2 is Carnage. Take Spider-Man's powers, combine them with the insanity of a killer like Cletus Cassidy, and you have Carnage. The next generation of symbiotes was generated from a remnant of Venom left in a jail cell with the psychopathic murderess Cletus Cassidy. The symbiote's detachment and Cassidy's love of killing resulted in a one step of the top of the villains for both Spider-Man and Venom. The reason Carnage is listed as one of the most powerful symbiote is the host that has a lot of control. If you guys remember that of Spider-Man, I really hate clones of Spider-Man the animated series. Yeah, he was. That was an example of how Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man, was under the control of the symbiote Carnage. With all his heart and all his mind, he is able to try to disarm the bomb, but he wants to get rid of the symbiote first. So what he really does is the unthinkable that no other hero would do. He sacrificed himself by taking the bomb, self-destructs with it, along with himself and the symbiote, and to save all of time, space, and reality. So, the reason Carnage is so thus he can camouflage himself, Carnage I mean, from other symbiotes and shield his presence from Venom. Furthermore, his lust for blood enhances the symbiote's natural powers so they surpass the original host. In other words, once the Carnage symbiote gets to you, and when Carnage kind of gets to any DC or Marvel superhero, and yes, even Japanese anime, of any Japanese anime character, whether it's a super villain, a superhero, or a non-superhero with a regular villain or a regular hero of the public, of the people, whichever works in your favor. And number one is Null. K-N-U-L-L. I'm not kidding. The origin of the alien symbiotes has changed. The most recent one has given them a father of the sorts in the form of Null. Born in the earliest days of the universe, the godlike figure has waged a constant battle in the Celestials for bringing light into the star-filled vastness. Null's greatest power is the ability, that's right, to spawn symbiotes. I'm not kidding. He can spawn symbiotes of any whatsoever, including the black suit Spider-Man, whether it's Venom, Anti-Venom, and the other of the symbiotic guardians, if you like to call it, back in from the 90s. And yes, it can happen with Bizarrenage, if you want to know. So yes, Bizarrenage, DC, and Marvel together as one. Using his vast knowledge, he is able to infuse them with a part of his meta capabilities. These abilities have allowed him to live several billion years. Wow! That surpassed Goku Black from Dragon Ball Super, and not to mention Beerus, the god of destruction. And who knew? And not to mention the Supreme Kai of Time. Yes, and you can put the Dragon Ball universe into this as well. So, yay! It's Japanese anime fighting against Null, but Null is kind of like the god of Null symbiotes, and he has godlike powers that can spawn symbiotes from the dead back to life. So yeah, and who would knew that something like this would happen? That the land of the Kais do know about this, including those from Japanese anime, would have some serious thoughts, if you want to know. Allowing him that much of lots of years would give him the edge, if you want to know. And I do believe we are going to stop here for the time being, and don't you worry, I think I'm going to pick up from where I left off for another side quest and info of Venom for another time. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys like this video, mash that like button or share it. I'm your guide to know about of any information about Venom's side quest or info if you want to know, including Spidey lore. So please leave a comment section below and tell me what is the typical thinking or version that you like Venom so much about, or what is your favorite symbiote, if you want to know, which kind of works best. So anyways, this is Leo Wolverine saying and speaking as always as your friendly neighborhood spider cop who takes chances, making mistakes and getting messy like peanut butter and chocolate or breakfast for dinner. Because when the going gets tough, the job gets it done for a breath of fresh air in Leo's Let's Plays Alliance. And this game is rated T for teen because of the blood, language, and violence. This is not KID friendly because it never was, and this game should have been M-rated in the first place. But I will stand with my argument over and over. So anyways, Godspeed, play safe, and shalom. Remember to fight with honor, love, truth, and justice. And see you guys next time for more of Marvel Spider-Man on the Info and Side Quest Mission, if you like to call it so. TTFN, ta-ta for now. Woo, 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 woo. I never thought I enjoyed in the negative suit, but in a positive way. Woo-hoo-hoo!